Alright YouTube, All Muscle back again at it. This is the part 2. I already made the intro on this project that I'm doing. As you can see, I'm going to be lifting this Camaro about 72 inches. Just kidding. Anyways, we're pulling out the LS1 out of this Camaro. This is the proper way to pull these engines. You got to lift the body off of the engine and trans. And just to show you what it looks like, this is our LS1 engine with the T56 transmission and our aluminum drive shaft there. Now, everything went fairly smooth as far as this extraction, except for this line. This is a hydraulic clutch line, and it basically goes to the trans right there where the other anodized orange or yellow connector is. A lot of these, basically what I think is they build up a lot of dirt and dust and grime and all kinds of stuff, and it makes for pushing in this. My camera's not focusing here. Back out. Well, anyways, you see kind of what I'm talking about. There's a plastic that is like a little sleeve that goes in here, and it just rides along here. But when you want to remove the line, you have to depress this plastic in like this, while it's still connected in there. So imagine this line being inside the trans, and for you to be able to disconnect it, this thing just normally rides right along the edge here. You have to depress this plastic down, and it's got like a spring type of action. There's a tool for this, but this is obviously just, you know, how it is. It's supposed to be a quick disconnect, and this is by far the stupidest quick disconnect that I can think of, as far as putting down underneath the car, where it can build up, you know, like I feel it just going up and down right now. It's all gritty, so it's it makes it hard to take that line off. But anyways, not dragging that on, but I am. Anyways, that's the only tough part that was involved in this extraction. Everything else came out fairly simple. Radiators and fans came out first. Electricals, grounds, 6 subframe bolts, which go up right in the bottom of the frame here, and they go down into here. You'll see them right underneath. They basically, I think they're 19 or 18 millimeters. Pull them off. The 4 bolts on the sway bar come off. So now what we have is the full front end suspension with the rack and pinion, the engine, trans, the catalytics stay on. I'll leave the catalytics on, just like that, both sides. The Y pipe in the center section, that gets removed, obviously. I leave the drive shaft up, or not up, but inside the trans. It's disconnected from the rear end, and then I'll just slide this. I've got it on dollies down here. I'll just slide this right out from underneath the car, and that'll be the end of that. So anyways, back to the plan here. The plan was originally, in my first video, that I was going to gut out both of the interiors on these cars and start from the electrical inside the cars. Well, that's not the case at this point. At this point, what I'm going to do is I have 2 chassis with no engines and trans in them, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to route the brake lines, the new fuel lines. I'm going to do probably the rear axle, and what else is there? Yeah, the rear axle, brake lines, fuel lines, the gas tank. Okay, the gas tank is one item. I'm going to be replacing that whole air conditioning box there, the climate control unit, the heater cores in there, along with all the air conditioning components. I'm going to be replacing that with this one. I'm going to be replacing the booster along with the master cylinder, and then I'm also going to be replacing the whole complete steering column. So we're going to use a lot of the parts off of this car. I'm going to use the front end, all the fuse panels here. I'm going to end up using all these, all the new heater lines, AC lines, and actually the cruise control unit. So I'm gonna be having my hands full here. So I guess that's a wrap for right now. That's all I wanted to show you. Next, like I said, what we're gonna do next is drop this subframe, and then see this anti-lock brake mech is different than the 2000 style. So we're gonna be replacing that. This is no longer going to be sitting here, it sits on the engine. We're going to be using a completely different exhaust system, completely different subframe. The steering rack is completely different. So we're going to be using everything off the Camaro and nothing off of this car. So like I said, what we're going to do also, these fuel lines no longer come through the chassis right here. So I'm going to be probably getting a piece of sheet metal and welding that into place. And then also what I've noticed so far is that there's a small, once I remove this, there's a small indentation on the frame here that I'm going to cut out from the other car and weld that in for the cruise control module. But other than that, that's so far what I've noticed that has to be changed. And we're going to be, like I said, this is I want to start with 2 gutted cars, and this is basically going to get the subframe pulled out of it next. Let me show you that that little indentation that I'm talking about. I want everything to sit in the car as if it was factory installed. See this piece here? It sits just like that for that cruise control module, and it sits right in here and bolts down with this. So the other car did not have this. The power steering reservoir sits on top, so this is one of the only things that I saw that was different on the chassis. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grind this out or cut this out, and as far as down here, and then patch it in to the other car, and then I'm going to paint. Obviously, I'm going to paint the area. And again, there's the spot where the fuel lines, right in that back corner. Fuel lines no longer come that way. They are obviously routed completely different, and they sit right along the frame there. So we're going to start with those, and then I'll be doing some welding, some patching, a bunch of different things. So stay tuned. I'll show you what I'm doing little by little. But there she is for now.